Hello everyone, it's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. I'm here to show you how to make this project out of file folders. This is tutorial a calendar year. If you did not pick up my tutorial, you want to pick it up to make this project. I'm going to go through the assembly process with you, but measurements and all that good stuff, you can find that in your tutorial. This is the file folder size or the smaller size. This is the bonus that you all got for picking up my tutorial. The original size is a little bit larger, and you have measurements. There's 3 sets of measurements in your tutorial for this, which is the original size, and then the smaller size in cardstock and file folder. So to make it out of cardstock is exactly the same assembly as a larger size, but to make it from the file folder is a little different, so I want to be sure that I go through that with you all right now. So to make this from file folders entirely, you need 6 file folders. And these are letter size file folders or standard size file folders that measure 9 1/4 from end to end by 11 5/8 of an inch. So if you are in another country and you're wondering what file folders you need, these are letter size, American letter size, or standard size, and they measure 9 1/4 by 11 5/8 of an inch. And you need 6 of these. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your file folder, and I'm using the top or the bottom bank. I'm not using the center bank. If you want to use the center bank, then you have to figure out what those center measurements are. And that's easy to do once you make your first one. So you're going to take your file folder, and you're going to cut it this way at the measurement that you see in your cutting guide, and this is piece A. So piece A, and you're going to go ahead and cut. So you're left with this piece right here. You can go ahead and throw this out. You do not need it. So then you're going to open up your file folder, and notice that you have a crease or a fold in the center already. You're going to make 2 more creases on either side. It says to score on either side. So go ahead and score. So now you're going to have this fold right here and this fold right here. And I'm still on, this is piece A. And just to make sure everything's nice and straight, if it's not straight, go ahead and line it up and then take your burnishing tool and go ahead and create another crease. Sometimes when we fold or we score, it's not, for some reason, it's not quite straight. So you want to go ahead and just straighten that all out. Okay, so your piece A, this is what it should look like at this point. You should have a left-hand side, a right-hand side, and then the file folder crease right down the middle. So set piece A to the side. Then you're going to need 2 B pieces, 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to go through the cutting guide. 2 pieces for B. There's no cutting, no score. There's no scoring, just cutting. And just so you know, to cut your file folder, you're going to make everything out of file folders. Let's say like if you're going to cut your piece B. So let me grab my trimmer over here. So here's my trimmer. What you want to do is cut the crease off first. So you want 2 separate pieces. And this is for cutting everything. And then go ahead and cut to whatever measurement is on your cutting guide. So now you have 2 independent pieces, and then you can go ahead and cut to whatever you need. Save 1 of these here, of these sets, because you can use this to mat the front cover. So go ahead and make sure you save a set of these when you start cutting it all apart. So your piece B, you need 2 of those. Your piece C, this is important. This is why I want to go through it with you. Piece C, you need 8 pieces. So you're going to cut and score according to your cutting guide, and you're going to examine your piece. You should have 3 score lines. You want to be on the dented side. When you score, you have a side that I call the bubble, which is you can feel it, and then the dented side. So the bubble side and the dented side. You want to apply your tape close to the cut edge along the score line to the dented side. That's very important. Do that to all 3 sides. Along the cut edge, so really close to the cut edge without going over, You never want to go over the cut edge, but you want to line it up as close to the cut edge as possible. So you want to do this to all 8 pieces. Then to this, you're going to notice there's some intersecting score lines that form an X, and you should have 2 of those at the bottom. And if you examine this closely, you should be able to see that X right there. You want a miter. What miter means is to cut on the diagonal across that X. So what you want to do is position your scissors right over that X, and you want to be as even as possible. You don't want to do that over the X. You want to be as even as possible, and cut and remove the section. The same thing on the opposite side. So right over the X and cut. What does that do for you guys? When you fold, so now you're going to fold toward the bubble. When you miter like that, your pockets, you don't get any overlap. You never want your pockets to overlap one on top of the other, because what that creates is added bulk that you do not need. So when you create pockets, you always want to miter instead of just kind of trimming on the ends of it. This is the proper way to do it, or the more aesthetically pleasing way to do it, guys. If you want a beautifully finished product without not too many layers and added bulk, this is the way you want to do it. So now to burnish, you always want your flaps facing your work surface. Place your hand down and then supporting the piece of paper and then burnishing. If you burnish this way, you're going to create 9 times out of 10, you're going to kind of lose that score line. You're going to deviate from it and it's going to make a wonky flap. So to avoid that, place your flaps toward your work surface and burnish. So you want 8 of these. Notice that you can see the tape backing here. 8. For your D piece, very simple. Let me put my C back on my C so I don't lose, because I get confused with my pieces. I don't know about you guys, but I like to label my pieces. So for your D piece, you need 4 of these. You're going to cut and score. Add your tape along the cut edge, closest to the cut edge, and then you're going to fold. Tape is on the dented side, and you're going to fold and burnish. Notice you can see the tape. You need 4 D pieces. And this is how I like to work in order to just get my project done in 1, 2, 3. Now for your E piece. This is important, guys. You've cut and you scored 6 pieces. What you want to do now is you want to find the bubble side. The tape here goes along the cut edge, following the score line on the bubble side. Very important. Very important. You want to do that to all 6 pieces. Now you're going to fold toward the bubble. As always, the proper way to fold on the score line is to fold toward the bubble or the bumpy side and burnish. Notice you do not see the tape backing. You do not see the tape. The tape is on the inside. Very important. You do that to all 6 pieces for your E piece. Now we are ready to assemble. Place all this to the side, give myself a nice work surface, and let's get started, guys. So grab your A piece. Open it up. All right, so this is the inside of your A piece right here. And you can't see my Post-it note. There you go. Yeah, let's put it right here so you can see. This is the inside of your A piece. You want the file folder tab on your left-hand side and then the opposite on your right-hand side. So when you close, you get this nice file folder tab. You're probably looking at this and saying, my gosh, this looks a lot bigger than Kathy's. It does. There's a reason for that. So you can see it's way bigger than mine. I didn't give you a second measurement for your gusset or your spine. There's a reason for that. If you want that nice rounded spine, you get that when you completely finished and you close the album. guys. So just stick with it. You haven't done anything wrong. A lot of comments on that. Mine is not the same size as yours. It will be. Just hang in there. So let's start with the assembly. Let's go ahead and identify what your center point is, what your center is, and it's this part here where you have that file folder fold. You're going to grab 2 D pieces. D pieces are the ones with the top and bottom flaps only. And you're going to attach them to the center. You want to be sure you're in the center. Where you attach this, it will designate where your spine begins and ends. So if you're too much to the left-hand side, no good. You want to be in the center. You could be a little more to the left-hand side, to the right-hand side, excuse me, because this side folds in first, this side folds in last. But again, people, the center. But what you want to avoid is being too close to your left-hand side. So really close on the edge, right on the edge, please. Not a little bit off the edge, none of that, on the edge. This is why I give you a measurement, so that everything fits like a puzzle, right on the edge. And I am too close to my left-hand side, exactly what I told you guys not to do. So I'm going to correct that. This is a fabulous product. It's called Undo. You can unglue or undo anything you have taped down. And this is with tape, not with glue. It doesn't work with glue. With this fabulous product, it's wet, but I promise you, it doesn't wet your paper, doesn't stain your paper. Now, what it does have, it stinks. So it's called Undo, and it is fantastic. See that? 9 times out of 10, you don't have to retape, but this time I put a little too much and my tape came off. So I'm going to wait for this to dry. See how the tape stays on? You don't have to retape. The tape is good, but my tape just pulled all the way off because I put a little too much on. So we're going to start again. So if you do not have Undo and you craft and you make my projects, you want some. Okay, you can pick it up at Michael's, online, on any online store, craft store. They have it at Walmart. It is fantastic. Let me grab some more tape again because I lost one side of my tape. So this is what you guys do when you screw up. You use some Undo. Again, it is important that you are in the center. Notice how quickly it dried. Again, it does have a pretty strong odor that I do not like. You want to be in a ventilated area. Okay, so let me try this again. Oh no, my head's on crooked. So that looks pretty good. I think I got that now. And if you want to make a mark, go for it, guys, okay? But this, I think I've got it now. All right, so there we go. So that's a piece D. Now you want to add another piece D to the very top of that. Again, I can't stress enough, you want to be right on the edge. If you're not right on the edge, when you place this one right on top of it, it's going to hang off the top. You do not want it to hang off the top. Remember, this folds into itself, so you want to have adequate spacing. So you don't want to be careless or sloppy when you're attaching these pockets, okay? So now we can see the center of this project. Now you can see your spines. There they are, guys. So when you fold this up, this becomes your spine, and then you get that perfect sizing. So we're going to lose this A piece because you know what this is. So now we're going to attach our B pieces. So B goes on the outside flaps on your right and left-hand side. You notice there are no flaps for this to attach this. So to give you really good construction, we're actually going to attach these to our A piece with this piece right here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and stabilize this so we don't screw it up. So you want to take some tape, and I'm using 1/8 inch tape. You can use wet glue if you want to. I want to keep this really neat. And again, remember I said I wanted to avoid bulk wherever I could? That's because this folds into each other. So the least amount of flaps I have, the better. However, I don't want to compromise good construction. But in this particular area, I was able to eliminate my flap, and I'll show you why. So just a little bit of tape or wet glue, whatever you want. Wet glue is a little bit more forgiving because you can move it around if you don't get it on there right. Tape, not so much. So what you want to do is you want to stick this to each side. This is your B piece. And I've got to flip things around because I cannot get anything on straight for the life of me. What you want is to avoid placing this right on the score line. You want to be just slightly away from the score line, and I'm going to give you a measurement, but it's not exact, about a 1/16 of an inch away from the score line. What you want to do is to be able to fold without any resistance, right? So let's get a nice close-up shot of that. See where I am? I'm just slightly away from the score line or the fold, whatever you prefer to call it. You want to do the same thing on the opposite side. You never want to stick anything down to the fold unless I instruct it. There would be a reason for that. But 9 times out of 10, you always want to attach pockets away from the fold. Just slightly, not too much, because we don't want to change the size of this. We just want to make it functional. There we go. So that looks pretty good. And to test that you glued it on straight, you want to fold it over, and if you're kind of off, just straighten it up and score again. So there are your B pieces. You should have 2 B pieces, 1 on each side. I'm losing this for a minute. I'm just going to place it up here. Now what we want to do is, remember I said we're going to attach these with our E pieces. So let's grab an E piece and let's remove the tape backing. And I'm going to do a glittered spine, so I'm not going to taper one side of this. But if you're going to only do paper, you want to taper the side that's closest to the binding. The outside really doesn't matter. But if you're unsure of that, then you can go ahead and taper both sides. But mine is not going to show again because I'm going to do a glittered spine. But again, if you're going to do paper, go ahead and taper. So you can take your E piece, and you're going to attach an E piece to the top and the bottom of this B piece. And I can never grab my paper. It's going to go over your A piece as well. So it's going to seal that pocket. It's going to create a nice seal for the pocket without losing any of the interior space. And I'll show you how to do it. So you want to line up the edge of this piece with the edge of your B piece. Oopsie, we're shedding. And of course, again, I've got to flip mine over in order to get that right. So let's do this side first. So remember, I'm lining it up with my B piece, not with the fold on the A. B piece. Nice and close, nice and close, and stick it down. Beautiful. When you do it like this, it gives you perfect spacing in between your fold and your the neighboring piece. Now, if you would have attached it like this, let's say like this, you would have to give yourself adequate spacing. But because you're attaching it in the folded position, it automatically gives you the spacing that you need. So that's how I like to attach my flaps. So let's attach another E piece. And for this one, I've got to flip it over. Now, for this one, you want to line it up once again. Remember, you're right over this piece here. Line it up once again. You want to line everything up before you stick it down. Be careful, because if not, you'll get everything all jacked up, like I'm doing right now. I'm not perfectly on the edge there. Let's see if I can save it. Well, I can, yes, wonderful. Beautiful. And if it doesn't line up, we can always fix that score line. And so let's go back to where we need to be. So there's your 2 E pieces attached to the top and bottom. These are your E flaps. One can do that. Maybe you see that. Now you want to repeat the same process to the opposite side. So let's grab 2 more E's. And again, my fellow crafters are going to flip it around because I'm a righty, so I need to work on this side in order for me to get things on properly. Again, so right over your flaps, you want to line it up with your B piece so that you are doing it nice and perfect. And this is the B piece right here, so you're lining it up with that B piece, not with the fold, with the B piece. And that's the letter B. And again, one more time. Working good. Perfect. All right, now let's go back to our original position, and it would be this one. So we've got our B pieces attached, our E pieces attached. Now we're going to attach the center. You should have 2 E pieces left, and that goes to the center. And again, you want to attach these centered to the base. Centered to the space. So as centered as possible. Remember, you do not want to be too close to your left-hand side because that is your outside binding. You never want to be too close to this side. And here's the next piece. And of course, we've got to flip this over. Hopefully you're all still with me. Me and my flipping, you're flipping. So you want to line it up with the bottom because you want it nice and even. And that looks pretty darn good. Now let's see, where are we? Over this way. And the only reason why it's important is because this short side is the front of the file folder. So I want this to be on my cover. So now that we've attached all of our E pieces, now we can attach the remaining pocket pieces. And that is really simple. So let's start with our C pieces. You're going to attach your C pieces to each area. So there's 4 per side. That'd be 1, 2, 3, and then 4 at the top. And you want to make sure the opening is, if you're on the left-hand side, the opening should be on your left-hand side. If you're on the right-hand side, your opening should be on your right-hand side. And I'll zoom out in just a minute so you can see more of this. So these are your C pieces. So go ahead and remove your tape backing. Remember, your flaps are not overlapping. Well, ideally, they shouldn't be. And you want to start on the outside edge. On the outside edge, right on that corner. On the outside edge. And then work your way to the inside. Notice you have spacing right here. You need that spacing. So you didn't cut incorrectly. That is the right way to cut. You should have a little opening here, which is insignificant, so you can just ignore it. Once you attach everything, that will be gone, or you can just seal it with a little bit of wet glue. Now this piece is going to be lined up with the outside edge of this piece, this layer right here, which is the B layer. So you're going to line it up with that edge. All your edges should line up. Beautiful. That way you have proper spacing. And then your another C piece. And they should fit perfectly in the space. Nothing should overlap. Nothing should be hanging off the edge. If you cut properly and attach things properly, you should be fine. And last C piece, top left-hand corner. Let me zoom out just a little bit to see if you can see, get all of that. So I can zoom out. There you go. And because you want to start on the outside edge, I'm going to go ahead and flip this around so I can get a good handle on this. So on the outside edge, please line everything up properly and attach it. So we are done with the left-hand side. So your opening should be on your left-hand side. You can cut your either tags or photo mats, and you'll see that those fit beautifully in the pocket. And you get no contrast here. But once I mat and everything, you will see contrast. Now, let's work on the right-hand side. So now let's remove the tape backing and do the same exact thing. You're going to attach all the pockets. And go for it. Starting on the outside edge. And here we go. Close to the outside edge. Remember that. Line everything up. On this one, I have a slight overlap. I don't like that. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fix it. All you have to do is just cut a little bit. You never want to cut into that score line. Just cut on the flat. See that? And now it's fixed. So line everything up. Beautiful. And we should have one last C piece. Letter C. And again, because I want to start on the outside edge, I'm going to swing this around so I can get a good placement, good angle, I guess. Here we go. So now let's go back to the original position. And now we have two pieces without any pockets right here in the center. So here we're going to do our final two D pieces. And so you want to remove the tape backing just from one side only. That side is going to be on the bottom. So with the side with the tape backing is going to allow you to line things up, right? Nice and straight. Then you're going to move it down, hopefully nice and straight still. We want to get one side first. Go ahead and secure that there, because otherwise it's going to be really difficult for you to line it up. Now you can remove the tape backing from the other side and stick it down. Because remember, you got to have the spacing, guys. And then final piece, top, center. So once again, removing the tape backing from one side. Centering that as best you can, or lining it up with the neighboring pocket and then bringing it down to the edge, the cut edge, please. Don't go over the cut edge, just right on that cut edge. And now remove the tape backing from the opposite side and stick it down. And there you go. There you have it. This is how you assemble the project titled A Calendar Year with File Folders. So you're going to cut all of your photo mats for your side pocket. You're going to cut all of your 12 photo mats for on top. And I did number 10 tags for the right and left-hand sides. And again, all these measurements are in your tutorial. And then I didn't do tags. I did file folder pieces here. Because I didn't want a tag coming out of one side or the other. The tag side. And again, you have your photo mats that you're going to cut. I will show you this completely done once I'm done matting it. But this is it. This is how you assemble it. You want to put your magnets on. Then you mat. And then you do your photo mat. But how you close this is fold these two pieces in. And then this side comes over. Notice your spine will start forming. But not until you mat everything do you want to, create any type of creases or anything like that. So notice if I hold it properly, because again, I don't want to create any creases just yet. Notice how it is the same size. But that all happens when you load it up. You have to have space to load it up. And this is both for the file folder and the cardstock version. Like this, it's not right. And you're like, what's happening over here? What's this crease? It'll all come together once you fill it up. So this is Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. You can pick up this tutorial. If you haven't yet, I will link you down below. And until next time.